For many, the flicker of a beige CRT monitor represents a distinct era of computing. Today, a growing cultural movement seeks out these pixelated experiences and the chiptune soundtracks that defined early digital history. However, modern operating systems are built on massive, multi-layered architectures. They cannot natively communicate with the streamlined, direct data streams of MS-DOS software, which were designed for a much simpler hardware era. This is where DOSBox comes in. It acts as a bridge by emulating a complete DOS environment, translating that vintage code so your modern hardware can understand and execute it. To get started, you only need 3 things: a modern PC, an internet connection, and the ability to extract files from a zip folder. Establishing this environment offers a window into a time of strict hardware constraints. By stripping away modern background layers, we can see the straightforward logic and resource efficiency that allowed these programs to thrive on minimal memory. First, we need to acquire the application. Open your search engine, type DOSBox download, and look for the official project website as your first result. On the Downloads page, click the green Download button at the top. Once the installer finishes downloading, double-click it to begin the installation on your machine. With the app installed, you need to create a host folder. This folder acts as the bridge DOSBox will use to pull and run your game files. To avoid errors later, place this folder directly in the root directory of your PC, usually the C drive. Bypassing the usual complex user subfolders and naming it something simple, like DOS Games with no spaces, will make the next steps much easier. Simply right-click in your root directory, select New Folder, and type in your chosen name. Setting up this clean path now prevents syntax errors and frustration when you have to manually type directory locations into the DOS command line later. Now you need the software itself. Legitimate preservation sites like My Abandonware host thousands of titles that have been released for free by their original publishers. Use their search bar to find a game you want to play, then click the download button on that game's specific page. Most downloads arrive as zip files. DOSBox cannot read these directly, so you must extract the contents before attempting to run the game. Create a new, named subfolder for the game inside your main DOS Games folder, and extract all the files from the zip into that new space. Look closely at your extracted files to find the one ending in .exe. This is the executable file that actually launches the software. Identifying this file is the final step in turning raw, archived data into a program that is ready for active execution. You have 2 ways to launch the game. We'll start with the authentic way, which uses the manual command line interface. Open the DOSBox application to bring up the classic black command screen. Type the mount command exactly as shown here. This tells DOSBox to link its virtual Z drive to the physical folder on your computer where your games are stored. Next, type the letter of the drive you mounted followed by a colon and press enter. This switches the Active Directory so the emulator can see your game files. Finally, type the name of your game's executable file and press enter. The emulator will now transform into the game itself. If you prefer to skip the manual typing, there is a much faster modern shortcut. Open your File Explorer and position it so you can see both the game's executable file and your DOSBox application icon. You can simply drag and drop the .exe file directly onto the DOSBox icon. The software will launch instantly. While the drag-and-drop method is more efficient for a modern workflow, the manual command line approach preserves the actual operational experience of early computing. As the game bursts to life, you'll immediately see the geometric pixel art and hear the chiptune audio that makes retro gaming so distinct. For the best experience, you can toggle between a small window and a full-screen view by pressing the Alt and Enter keys at the same time. This shortcut expands the game to fill your entire monitor, providing a much more immersive experience. With these steps complete, your modern PC has successfully been transformed into a functional retro time machine. Using tools like DOSBox is a way to actively participate in the preservation of technological history. Now that you know how the system works, the only question is which classic program you will rescue next.